exchanging words. The referees got in the mix. They called a tech on both of them. And then from that, it kind of escalated. And then Myisha Hines-Allen got involved, and Sophie got involved, and Alyssa Thomas got involved. But again, at this moment in time, and I believe this was like the beginning of the fourth quarter, at this moment in time, the Fever are up like 16 or 18 points, I believe, when all of this started happening. But at this point in time, there was no nothing physical had happened. Okay. So they all get assessed with technicals. The 5 players that I just named, there were 3 on the side of the Indiana Fever and there were 2 on the.
That right there is the face of someone who just watched a basketball game turn into absolute chaos. And she's not exaggerating. What happened in the fourth quarter of this Indiana Fever versus Phoenix Mercury game was one of the most bizarre officiating displays of the entire WNBA season. We're talking about a game that had everything. A 6-point first quarter, a 35-point second quarter, technical fouls flying everywhere, an ejection, and referees calling fouls with 2 seconds left when the third string was on the floor and the game was already decided. This wasn't just bad basketball at times. This was Alice in Wonderland basketball, where every quarter brought something completely different, and the rulebook seemed to change every 5 minutes.
Yeah, for either of you, you guys tied it up at 95. There's about 3 minutes to go, and then they scored almost every trip down the stretch. Did you feel were the defensive failings in those final minutes?
I think it comes down to, obviously you want great teams to take tough shots. I think we kind of lapsed in that area. We got a little too many people involved on their roster. When you think about some of their bench, we let them be acting, but I think it kind of shot us in the foot a little bit, and it was always hard to catch up.
For either of you again, they scored 60 points in the paint. Just what was the breakdown, close to the basket there?
Yeah, I think in transition they got easy ones, and then I think they had, however many fast break points, 17. So that's, probably that right there contributed to it, and points off turnovers. And I thought a lot of times that's probably on us guards getting into the ball a little bit better, so we don't have to rotate, but. I think we could have done a little bit better. We're going to have to rotate at some point, and we kind of went back to our old ways where that second rotation we didn't get, and then they scored off the 90 cuts and the 45 cuts. So we got to do better in that area. And like Kelsey said, essentially everybody on their team shot over 50%. It's really hard to win a basketball game when that's the case.
Kelsey, what do you feel like you all can do to kind of make sure that your offensive runs translate into better energy on defense?
I think Coach hammered home a good point about making sure the defense is what you value first. You guys see us at our best and always.
So let's break down what actually happened, because this sequence of events is wild. Caitlin Clark and Dewana Bonner are running down the court. Their arms get tangled up. They exchange some words. That's it. No pushing, no shoving. Just 2 competitive players talking trash to each other. This happens in literally every basketball game, at every level, but the referees decided this was the moment to take control. They called technical fouls on both players. Then Myisha Allen got involved. Sophie Cunningham got involved. Alyssa Thomas got involved. And suddenly, we've got 5 players assessed with technicals. 3 from the Fever, 2 from the Mercury. And here's the context that makes this even more absurd. The Fever were up by 16 to 18 points when this started. This wasn't a close game getting chippy in crunch time. This was a blowout where the refs decided to insert themselves into the narrative.
Mo, how would you assess your performance tonight, and what went into just having that all-around effect on the game?
I would just say I had good energy, good hustle. My teammates found me in the pocket, CC specifically, had some really good passes. And, I would just say energy and hustle plays.
Caitlin, can you speak to the chemistry you have with Mo and you've been developing through the last few games?
Yeah, obviously it was great. I got to play with her at Team USA, and, it's fast in the WNBA. You don't get a lot of time to develop with one another. So just really proud of her and how she came out tonight. I thought she was diving hard, which was an emphasis coming into the game. It was get out of screens. We want to get dives. We want to get rolls, especially even coming out of halftime. She did that really well. She finished through contact. She made free throws. So, and then she rebounded the ball really well, especially early in the game. She got us a few extra chances when things were not going our way at all. So I'm just really happy for her.
Pick up the tech tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping. So if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So If any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me was for clapping. So it's just ridiculous. I don't understand it at all.
So even within that, though, how aware do you have to be of the 8 technical fouls?
I mean, I'm going to play with emotion. I'm going to play with passion. And if they're going to give me a technical foul for clapping, then so be it. That's their choice. And the league can come back and review that play, and I'd love to hear what they say of the reasoning of why I got the technical foul in that situation and why other players on their team didn't get a technical foul in that situation. If anything, split it. Okay, fine. Everybody gets a technical foul. That wasn't how they were handed out. So I'd love to know, but obviously...
And this is where it went completely off the rails. After those initial technicals, the referees just lost all sense of game management. They started blowing their whistles every 20 seconds. Every single touch became a foul. Every single word exchanged became a potential technical. The flow of the game was completely destroyed. And then comes the moment that perfectly encapsulates how out of control this got. 2 seconds left in the game, the Fever are up by double digits, and both teams have their entire third string on the floor. These are the players who barely see minutes, the deep bench guys getting garbage time. And the referees call a foul with 2 seconds left in a decided game. That's not officiating. That's refs making a statement, and nobody knows what that statement even was. The game became unwatchable. Fans who stuck around through the chaos were rewarded with the most over-officiated fourth quarter you'll ever see.
Speaking of videoing practices, there's one iconic scrimmage.
There is.
Yeah.
But nobody knows if it actually happened because
it
nobody
happened.
actually saw it.
No, you know what happened.
Yes. So we have a practice team that's just all guys. They have to be students at the university. They basically...
But here's where things actually got physical, because up until this point, it was all just verbal. Alyssa Thomas gets the ball and starts going downhill. Now, if you know anything about Alyssa Thomas's game, you know she's not shooting threes. She's not pulling up from mid-range. Everything she does is aggressive drives to the basket. Using her strength and physicality, she's a bully ball player, in the best sense of that term. She puts her shoulder down and goes right at defenders. That's her game. That's how she scores, so she drives at Myisha Allen with that same physicality, shoulder down, going hard to the rim. And Myisha Allen, who had clearly had enough of the whole situation, bats the ball away and then pushes her. That push was the only actual physical escalation of the entire sequence. And that's what got Myisha Allen ejected. It was her second technical foul of the game, and she was done. Now, here's what's interesting about that moment. Alyssa Thomas plays physical basketball. That's not a criticism. That's just a fact. If you watch how opponents guard her, they don't even bother defending her at the three-point line because she's not taking those shots. But when you play that physical, and you're constantly initiating contact, eventually someone's going to push back. Myisha Allen pushed back. Was it a technical foul? Absolutely. Should she have been ejected? By the letter of the law, yes. But the context matters. The refs had already created this powder keg environment where every little thing was being called. Tensions were high, and players were frustrated. They set the stage for that escalation.
Now y'all are 5-13, and it's looking like you may not even make the playoffs. What you mad at? What you mad at? You can be mad, but don't forget, you skinny enough to slide underneath a door. Why do you think people supposed to be scared of you? You over here going at Clark. Clark might grab you upside down by your ankles and dunk you. Like you bugging out here. Listen. You act like you still young. You not. It's crazy. Like you got mad at the Fever because you lost your starting spot to Lexi. But here you are on a Phoenix Mercury and you're coming off the bench. You don't even start. So what was the big hoopla last season? Come on, man. Y'all got to stop playing games out here, man. You got to stop playing. It's okay. It's okay. You lost. You're not a better team. Y'all are 5-13. Y'all are 5-13. You aren't good. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? Doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense, man. They be doing any and everything to try to mess with the Indiana Fever. They don't get it. This ain't 2024. Clark ain't backing down from...
Let's talk about what this game actually looked like, quarter by quarter, because calling it a roller coaster doesn't even do it justice. The Fever scored 6 points in the first quarter. 6 points in a professional basketball game. That's not just bad. That's historically terrible. You should never see a professional team score single digits in a quarter unless something has gone catastrophically wrong. They had 7 turnovers in that first quarter alone. They were throwing up air balls. Shots were clanking off the backboard so hard, you thought the rim might break. Lexi Hull hit 1 3-pointer on the very first possession of the game, and then nothing happened for almost the entire quarter. With 5 seconds left, Kelsey Mitchell finally hit another 3. Those were the only 2 field goals the Fever made in 12 minutes of basketball. It was genuinely one of the worst quarters of professional basketball anyone has ever witnessed.
Any more of that fourth quarter. That was the craziest overcorrection that I have ever seen from referees. So it all started when Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner were running down the court and their arms kind of got tangled up, and then they exchanged some words. They exchanged some words with one another. Nobody pushed anybody.
But then, something clicked. The second quarter was like watching a completely different team take the floor. The Fever scored 35 points in the second quarter. Caitlin Clark alone had 15 points in those 12 minutes. She started hitting those deep threes, the ones from the logo that make defenders panic. She was finally playing in rhythm, making quick decisions, and getting her teammates involved. The ball movement that was completely absent in the first quarter suddenly appeared. Players were cutting, screens were being set properly, and the defensive rotations actually made sense. It wasn't perfect basketball, but it was competent, aggressive, and effective. And here's the thing about that turnaround. The Phoenix Mercury aren't a good team this year. They've won 5 games all season. They're not some defensive juggernaut that was locking the Fever down in the first quarter. The Fever just looked that bad on their own. The Mercury weren't even playing particularly well in the first quarter. They were winning, but only because the Fever were completely dysfunctional. So, when the Fever finally started executing basic basketball concepts in the second quarter, they went on an absolute tear. By halftime, the entire complexion of the game had changed. The team that looked like they might not score 20 points total after the first quarter had suddenly put up 41 points by halftime.
I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay, do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it.
The third quarter continued that momentum. The Fever scored 30 points in the third quarter, extending their lead and looking like they were finally putting this game away. And this is where you could see the PTSD from Fever fans in real time. During the broadcast, they showed a stat that the Fever had gone on a 68-33 run against the Mercury after that disastrous first quarter. That's a 35-point swing in basically 2.5 quarters. That's dominant basketball. But Fever fans weren't celebrating. They were terrified. Because this team has built a reputation for collapsing in the fourth quarter, for blowing double-digit leads, and for finding ways to lose games they should win. Going into the fourth quarter with a comfortable lead, fans were genuinely worried, not cautiously optimistic. Worried. And that tells you everything you need to know about what this season has been like for Indiana. They have too much talent to be this inconsistent. Caitlin Clark is one of the best players in the league. Kelsey Mitchell can score in bunches. Aliyah Boston is a legitimate two-way force when she's engaged. Lexi Hull has shown flashes of being a real contributor. This roster should be competing for a playoff spot, at minimum. But instead, fans are holding their breath even when their team is up 20 points because they've seen this movie before, and it doesn't always end well.